I think sometimes we talk about Supreme Court too much in abstractions about dignity and who's qualified and who's not qualified. Let's talk facts. Let's talk about what America is going to be like that's different. You are going to see 20 states pass laws banning abortion outright. Just banning abortion, and because they know that there are now going to be 5 votes on the Supreme Court to overturn Roe v. Wade. And abortion will be illegal in a significant part of the United States in 18 months. There is just no doubt about that. And that's why these seats matter so much.
What up, y'all? This your girl, Miss Danny Baby. Back one more again with another video. So, I'm sure you just saw the clip I just played on CNN about the big debacle basically that's going on because we're having a major Supreme Court justice that has announced his retirement. His name is Anthony Kennedy. I was curious if he was any kin to the actual Kennedy family, but I didn't see that in my little short research on him. But he may or may not be. But anyway, this is a big deal, ladies. To the point, I just wonder how many of y'all are actually paying attention. These cats in power are really scrambling to control the reproduction rights of women. And I believe it's just because they feel like they're losing omnipotence and the control like they like it. And this has always been a struggle for thousands of years, you know, especially with the advent of patriarchy upon the world. The womb was something that men felt like they really, really had to control. But with this Supreme Court justice announcing his retirement, and even though he was a conservative and was nominated by Reagan like 30 years ago, this cat actually supported most abortion rights, and he supported a lot of gay rights, which is two major things that conservatives are normally against. And I remember back in my more, Bible reading times, when I had more of a Christian ideology, I kind of felt like, well, if a woman allows her self to get pregnant, she shouldn't terminate the life of the child. I always felt like if it was a rape situation or some child molestation or something like that going on, that the woman should be allowed to terminate the pregnancy. But in society, even if that's the case, you were brutalized, raped, or taken advantage of in some type of way, and you got pregnant, it's almost like a coercion to still have the baby anyway, because you don't want to make the child pay, so to speak. But in my mindset now, and has been like this for a while, for a long time, I'm not with that shit. I think that's a mind fuck. To each his own. For women that don't believe in abortion, they don't have to have them. But I'm adamantly against the idea of making women have babies that they're not prepared to have or not ready to submit to. That's a huge responsibility. And I can just hear now guys, especially with an opposing view, they would say, well, can't nobody, we're forced to be daddies when we don't want to be daddies. That's not fair. Women should own up to their responsibility just like we have to. First of all, without getting into it too deep, the man is not forced to see a child or raise it or anything of that matter. If a woman proceeds and has a baby, the only obligation that the state could even possibly make him do, and that's if he has some money, is to make him pay some parts of child support. And let's keep it real. A lot of guys don't have it like that these days. So it's not like you're getting rich off of the child support of most dudes, okay? But the woman, on the other hand, if she proceeds to have, even if she gives that baby up for adoption at some later date, she has to go through almost a year of sacrificing her body to some other entity and being that basically it's not the baby's fault, but it is being parasitic on this woman until it is able to sustain life and breathe on its own, until she pushes it out into this world. The man doesn't have any parts to do with that. Once he ejaculates in the female and she becomes pregnant, he can wash his hands of it completely and say, well, I'll send you my check. I'll send you a check once a month or whatever, but I don't have anything to do with this. I'm not going through no 1 year pregnancy. I'm not about to raise this little motherfucker for 18 to 25 years. It's just completely different. And I know there's arguments on both sides. I've heard all the rigmarole and all the arguments. And it's sad when a woman has to feel compelled to terminate a pregnancy. I will say that. And I am kind of squeamish about the idea of a late-term abortion. I think if you're going to get one, try to get it as early as possible. But I do believe in the woman's right to choose, because it's her body. She's not a pig out here that should be forced to incubate some other entity beyond her control or consent. If she's going to submit to something so powerful, so spiritual, so overwhelming, and her life is never going to be the same again, she should be emotionally, spiritually, and also financially ready to do so. Because it's interesting, a lot of the people that will wag the finger and say, no, abortion's wrong, you opened your legs, you did this and that. Once you have that baby, they ain't there. They ain't there. But from a historical perspective, ladies, hey, get on your birth control. I would prefer every woman that's sexually active being on some birth control so that they don't even have to face an abortion situation. That's number one. So that's what you should be doing, being responsible. If you're not emotionally ready to submit your body to a man in that way anyway, you shouldn't be having sex anyway. You know, it's okay to be celibate or abstain for a while. But if you do choose to engage, please try your best to protect yourself. There are so many different forms of birth control out here, okay? That's the responsible grown woman boss thing to do, okay? All these ladies, you know, claiming that they got their game together, that's part of having your game together, okay? To direct your life in a more productive, non-harmful way. However, if something happens and the birth control doesn't work, you get caught up in a situation, I think if you're responsible enough and get to the doctors and decide, you know, look, I can't go through with this for X, Y, and Z, it's your body, it's your reasoning, I think you should be allowed to do so. That's my opinion. You don't have to agree with it. But it's interesting, it's more men on the Supreme Court than women. I don't know the exact ratio, but all these old cats, how does this justice that's leaving, I looked him up, he's an older guy, he's about 80 years old, but all these older men, it's men, making the decision for women whether we have to have babies or not. And for the younger women, y'all that's just starting out, you know, man, this world is changing at warp speed. And they're trying to keep it hush on the low so that we don't bark and fight too much. But ladies, whatever state that you're in, please pay attention. Here's a map I found where they're showing where it could be some serious changes in abortion law. The ones that are in red, it says that laws will automatically ban all or some abortions if it's overturned. Look at this shit. North and South Dakota, Louisiana, and Mississippi, some of the poorest states in the union. they're going to force abortion on people or want to or are going to try. And then the ones that are pinkish, says laws retained from the pre-Roe era that could ban or all or some abortions. That's like Arizona, New Mexico, Wisconsin, Michigan. The only ones that are somewhat safe for now are the ones in blue. And that's like Maine, Connecticut, Delaware, Maryland, Washington, California, and Nevada. So the extreme East Coast, some of the states, and extreme West Coast. But all this in white, ladies, this is up for grabs. In some states, they said that they only have one abortion clinic because the regulations are already so strict. One abortion clinic in the whole entire state. They say some of the strictest countries that have been in the world are like Guatemala and what was that other one? I think it was Ecuador. I know it was Guatemala was one of them, but it's another one. And they were saying how strict they were, like it was like major illegal unless the life of the mother was in danger. And if you think about it, a lot of people that live in Central America are very like religious, and we're getting an influx of really strongly religious minded people into this country. And you know, they believe in having some babies. This is not a racist comment. I'm just saying that a lot of people with roots in like South America and Central America, different countries like that, they believe in having a bunch of babies, and it's probably and likely because of indoctrination of religion, where the women feel like their bodies are not their own. And that's very problematic with me. My body is mine. It's what the universe gave me. This is what I was born with, and this is what I'm going to leave with. No person on two legs that doesn't have a womb or doesn't even have the capability of giving birth has no right to tell a person what they should and should not do as far as birthing. And the women that co-sign this foolishness, man, shame on you. Shame on you. So this is just something, this debate is going to heat up as we get closer to Trump electing a new justice, because he said that he's going to put some of the strictest people on the Supreme Court justice, the Supreme Court that he can find, because he's against abortion. So he claims. He flip-flops a lot. But go figure. This man has absolutely no respect for women. As far as I can tell, his shenanigans, the way he refers to women, he thinks of women as like peasants for real. He's very he's just very patronizing and very arrogant and chauvinistic when it comes to his ideas against women. I would even dare say misogynistic. I believe he low-key hates women and is jealous of them. But ladies, get your shit together. Make sure you're on birth control. Do not allow yourself to get pregnant without being in a position of power where you can actually care for, you and your partner can actually care for that child. And don't just assume, well, I can always get an abortion at some later date if I do be irresponsible and have a baby or get pregnant when I'm not ready for it. Because, as you can see, these men are trying to change the laws as we speak. And Roe versus Wade decision, giving women the right to choose, it hasn't even been 50 years. It's only been about 46, 47 years, y'all. So don't act like this has been around for 200, 300, 400 years, like we've just always had the right. No. Patriarchy, in a lot of ways, is not your friend. So just pay attention to this case, or to the events that are happening surrounding this Supreme Court justice, and I'll report back as I learn more information. Until then, see ya.